So once someone has figured out, all right, I want to build this specific product, here's generally what we're thinking for pricing. Now it's time for the design and the building process. How does someone kind of go about that? And there's a lot of elements there, right? It's, do I have someone in-house build this? Do I work with an agency? Do I work with a contractor? How do you suggest a creator and their team think about the actual development and building process?
Yeah, so there's a spectrum to that as well. I think that depending on the complexity of the product, there is certainly a world for the right creator and the right product that there's a kind of DIY version of it. And, particularly if it's not going to be a large part of their business, if the potential revenue opportunity isn't that large, we do advocate sometimes for that. Could you record your own course, edit it yourself, get it up on something like Kajabi or Thinkific or Teachable quite quickly and sell it? That would be a fit for lots of people. The middle area of that is a sort of do it with you kind of thing. And that can vary a bit in kind of definition of responsibilities. So, sometimes we, in that respect, will take on the design and build of the platform and the marketing and kind of launch strategy, but a creator may take on the video production and editing and content development. That's quite a common case, particularly if we're working with YouTubers. They're video people, so it doesn't make sense for us to step into that. And then the far other end of the spectrum is do it for you. And so we basically become the operating arm of this business, and we do everything. And we're kind of like an outsourced team that runs that business, and the creator is and their team are just kind of the clients, and that is a more traditional agency relationship. And so very dependent on who the creator is, what they're trying to build, but all of those are an option. I would say, Marquez is a great example. I don't think that most creators, at least for their first time, probably should be hiring their own teams to build especially more complex products, just because there's a lot of expertise that goes into it, and it potentially takes you a bit away from the thing that you are doing and best at. Most creators want to build these things because it gives them more time and energy to do the thing that they like, which is making content. And so it gives them more, freedom, more resources to do that. And so we're usually advocating, and it's self-interested to a certain degree, to kind of have someone do it for you so that you can focus on the things that you're more interested in. That being said, though, there are creators who have done this really well. There's a creator named Tessa Barton who launched a photo editing app called Tessa, which has been wildly successful. She is probably more exception to the rule. I believe her husband is also a software developer, so she had a ton of expertise there.
Yeah.
But it's a tricky thing, and I think it de-risks it a lot for creators to work with professionals.
And even some of the documents that came out from Mr. Beast, one of the things that I kept seeing over and over was his just demand to hire consultants. They already know what's going on. They already know the ins and outs. They know where the potholes are. Hire the consultant who's an expert at building this app or building this course, or work with Miles and the course team. Like, they've already got the time and energy. They've already done it and know where to look, so that you can do what you're best at, which is the content side of things. And it's something that I think there's a lot of balance, right? Creators, if they've done their own deals and they've done, their own video editing for a long time, I think there can be a little bit of a control factor there. But for building a long-term, business and sustainable product, you do want the experts.
Yeah. And, I think unsurprisingly, Mr. Beast is an exception in a lot of ways, but the vast majority of creators don't have the operational teams that he does. And so many of the creators we work with are, they have this high polished production quality, and, they give the perception of being these kind of well-oiled companies, which, they're certainly efficient. And I'm always kind of blown away by what these teams can get done. But you peel back the hood, and these are teams of 3 people sometimes. And if you are producing YouTube content and putting a video out once every 2 weeks with 3 people, plus your other content requirements, like, you have very limited capacity to do other things. And so, one of the things we really pride ourselves on is, and I think really differentiates us, is being easy to work with. Because if we become a drain on that creator's time, it becomes much less appealing to them to pursue these initiatives if it takes them away from doing the other parts of their business.